Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again. So we're looking at Daniel specifically the prophecies of Daniel. Um, what I want to look at today would be Daniel 7. We've looked at Daniel 2 and we saw the four different elements. We see here in Daniel 7, giving a brief overview here, there's four beasts mentioned, and from the fourth beast comes a, quote, little horn. Now this little horn is going to be explained again in Daniel chapter 8, and it's going to be the same guy, just under a different alias here. So, at least in the book of Daniel. Now, these four beasts, think of it, four elements in Daniel 2, four beasts in Daniel 7. This little horn is blaspheming the Ancient of Days, and the Son of Man comes on the clouds of heaven and casts this little horn into the lake of fire. Now, that should make you think of Revelation chapter 19. When Jesus returns, the Antichrist is thrown alive into the lake of fire, along with the false prophet. So we see here, there's already pieces coming together just from looking at it in a general overview piece here. The other beasts, in Daniel 7:12, I believe it's verse 12, the other beasts are allowed to remain for a season. Now, the interpretation comes and says these four beasts are four kings or kingdoms. The fourth beast shall have 10 kings, and an 11th king shall arise. Now, remember, in Daniel 2, there were four beasts, four kingdoms, four elements, four kingdoms, and 10 toes representing 10 kings. Here we see four beasts representing four kingdoms. The fourth beast has 10 horns representing 10 kings. Okay, so we're starting to see kind of how it matches together here. Notice the detail that these four beasts come from the sea. Okay? So I've already said it, the four beasts and the four elements are the same thing. So the first beast, this lion with eagle's wings, and its wings are eventually plucked up and it's made to stand like a man. You can see Daniel 4, where Nebuchadnezzar is driven out into just Mother Nature like a madman, and he takes on more of an animal-like kind of stature. And it talks about how his hair grows, and it almost looks like the feathers of a wing, the way his hair grows out on his body, and his nails grow long like talons. And so you can really see how this first beast seems to represent Nebuchadnezzar. Now, the reason I said to notice that they come from the sea, we're going to see in Revelation chapter 13, verse 1 and 2, that the first beast, the Antichrist, comes from the sea. Okay, the second beast. This is a bear raised up on one side. This is Daniel 7, I believe, verse 4. Is that right? Yeah, something like that. We see this bear raised up on one side, and it has 3 ribs in its mouth. Now, in Daniel 8, there is a ram that has 2 horns, and one is longer than the other. This represents the 2 kingdoms, Persia being stronger than Media. Okay, so the bear here represents Medo-Persia. It's raised up on one side because the Persians are stronger than the Medes. You have, in Daniel 8, we'll see this and we'll go into a little more detail, the 2 horns. Once again, one's longer because the Persians were stronger than the Medes. The 3 ribs represent the 3 conquests of Medo-Persia. And you can see the dates here. Lydia in 546 BC, Babylon in 539 BC, Egypt in 526 BC. The third beast, what was the third element? Well, this was Greece. In Daniel 2, the third element on the statue is Greece. So the third beast, it would make sense if this is Greece. We see a leopard with 4 heads and 4 wings, and dominion is given to it. Now, this represents Alexander and the 4 kingdoms of Greece after him. After Alexander died, or at least when he was on his deathbed, he said he wanted his kingdom split into 4 pieces, and the 4 greatest commanders of Greece each will have their own kingdom. So we see this beast representing Greece, but in Daniel 8, when you get there, you're going to see one horn representing Alexander. That horn falls off, 4 replace it. Why 4? Because Greece was split into 4 pieces, and each of the strongest kings got their own piece. Okay, so here we have the fourfold breakup of Alexander's empire. There is the Western, which was ruled by Antipater and Cassander. The Eastern, which was ruled by Lysimachus. And then Seleucus, the first, which maybe you've heard that if you know maybe you've heard that name if you know ancient history. They ruled from the north. Now, here's where it's important to notice this Seleucus of the northern kingdom. In Daniel 11, specifically, there is a king of the north and a king of the south. Now, it would make sense if we're talking about this northern kingdom somewhere around Syria, maybe even the eastern kingdom with Asia Minor, but that's less likely. And then the southern kingdom would be this Egypt-Palestine area. Okay? So you're going to see this king of the north, king of the south thing come up, and I want you to know where that comes from. Now, when we're looking at did I skip something here? Okay, no I didn't. Now the fourth beast, it is not even given an animal. It sounds almost like some sort of a dragon or something, right? It comes out and it's devouring things, it's breaking in pieces, it's trampling, it's exceedingly strong. Here you can see exceedingly strong and has iron teeth. Well, this is important to note. Why? Because you see dreadful and terrible in Daniel 2:31, the statue is called terrible. At least if you have the King James, it's translated the same word there. This exceedingly strong, and it has iron teeth. Why is that important? Because the statue, the fourth beast, or the fourth element of the statue, has iron legs, right? Now, we see that it devours and it breaks in pieces. Why is that important? Because in Daniel 2:40, it says that of the kingdom of iron that it breaks in pieces. Okay, so you see how these details are lining up here? The 10 toes equals 10 horns, which equals 10 kings. All of these things, they're all suggesting that it's the exact same beast that's being expressed here. They're the exact same manifestation being expressed here. Now, I've got a duplicate of slides. Okay. Concerning this little horn that comes up, he has eyes and a mouth that speaks boastfully. Later, we see this horn waging war against the saints and prevailing against them. He'll speak against the Most High and oppress the saints, which, of course, speaking against the Most High only once again goes back to this boastful or blasphemous wording. He tries to change the set times and laws. That's going to come in handy when we reach Daniel 8, because you're going to see that exact same pattern with the little horn in Daniel 8. The saints will be handed over to him, and it's going to be for a time, times, and half a time. Well, why is that important? You find that phrase in Daniel 12:14, or I'm sorry, in Revelation 12:14. So you have this boastful horn, and in Revelation 13, the Antichrist, the first beast, speaks blasphemies. We see this horn wages war against the saints, and in Revelation 13, verse 7, the Antichrist wages war against the saints and overcomes them. So we see these things, they come up over and over again in the prophetic, specifically in Daniel and in Revelation. But there's a pattern there that comes up over and over again. Now, here we see the beast of Revelation, Revelation 13, 1 and 2. It comes out of the sea, compare Daniel 7:2, has 7 heads and 10 horns. Once again, the 7 heads we're going to see this again, but the 7 heads could be that when you add up all of the heads of the 4 beasts, you have 1 from the lion, 1 from the bear, 4 from the leopard, and 1 from this 4th beast. That comes up to being 7 heads. 10 horns, well, where does that come from? It comes from Daniel 2 with the 10 toes, Daniel 7 here with the 7 horns on the 4th beast. You can also see in Revelation 12:3, but notice that the 7 crowns on the heads instead of 10 crowns, and so there is a differentiation between the beast of Revelation 12 and the beast of Revelation 13. The beast here, like a leopard in Daniel 7:6, feet like a bear, and the mouth is like a lion. Once again, this beast in Revelation 13, it sounds a heck of a lot like the 4 beasts of Revelation chapter 7, right? It's I put here a composite beast. It's hybrid. It's a combination. It's somehow all of them together. So we see Daniel 7, there's fulfillment in Rome in the 1st century, yet it goes past Rome. And we see John, especially if John's writing in AD 95. And that's the most common understanding, is that John is writing the book of Revelation in AD 95. This is 20 years after the destruction of Jerusalem, and John's prophesying there's going to come a time when Jerusalem will once again be destroyed, and there's going to be a temple, and there's going to be this beast, this Antichrist, and it's not going to be your Titus or whoever you want to put there, Nero. It's going to be somebody different. Now, with Revelation 13, 5-7, we see, and I've already mentioned this a little bit, a mouth speaks great blasphemies. He continues for 40 months, which equals 3.5 years. And you can see in Revelation 12:14, the dragon pursues the woman for a time, times, and half a time. The exact same phrase. The beast blasphemes God, God's name, his tabernacle, and they that dwell in heaven, which are the saints in Revelation. And you can see this, again, refers back to Daniel 7:25. He wars against the saints in Revelation 13:7. He overcomes the saints, which you can see goes back to here. So this is kind of our understanding of where Daniel 7 and Revelation 13, they both seem to be speaking the exact same phenomenon here. Next time we're going to be looking at Daniel 8, okay? So when we get there, you're going to hopefully find great things. Until then, grace and peace, and tune in next time. All right.